Yeah, 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 yeah. Sports show. Yeah, yeah. Sports show. Yeah, yeah. Sports show. Sports show. We get it on, get it on. Yeah, yeah. Sports show. Yeah, yeah. Sports show. Yeah, yeah. Sports show. We get it on. We get it on. Yeah. Yeah.
Yo.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another episode of the Yerrr Sports Show. I am your host, Big Baby, aka the soul of R&B. And to my right, I have the Queen, 25K Tay. What's going on?
Not much. I'm here.
I see. You are here. Yes.
And I'm on time.
Definitely on time. You got here before me. But how's your week been?
Tiring. This is exhausting. Sis want to get this done so sis could take these drugs out because.
Yeah, I know you're ready to get that done. Ready to get that done real quick.
I'm tired of Peter and I'm tired of Matt. I'm putting them on blast right now because they never show up to work. They're supposed to.
What's that? Brooklyn Nets fans, scary.
I know. Always something.
Nah, but shout out to Vernon Kelly. What's going on, brother? Real quick, non-sports related. What do you consider broke? Yeah, we're gonna start off with that. What do you consider broke? Like, if a guy's trying to talk to you, right, and you're talking, and you don't exchange finances, but you can kind of look and kind of tell. Some women have that sense about men to see if they broke or if they handling it or they know how to handle it. So, Tay, what do you consider broke?
Okay, you see, that's a hard one.
Okay.
Because there are people who go through broke phases. Like, we all have moments where, our pockets ain't hitting right. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, I get it. But broke to me is when you... Damn. That's hard because I might see something that might come across abrasive. Like, when a guy talks to me, how I know he's broke? If he got the green text messages and not the blue ones. Or he only talks to me on Facebook Messenger because he can only talk when he has Wi-Fi.
Oh.
Like, you have Metro PCS, you have like monthly like services, $20 a month. Like, if you don't have a service, like, you're kind of broke because you can get cell phone service anywhere. I think that if you still want to get on, hold on.
Hilarious.
Also, if you see, I'm in a different age bracket than a lot of people like who are on the network and stuff like that. So I feel like if you are 35 and older and you are still living at home, I think you are broke. You're not trying to do anything better for yourself at that point. I do think that things happen, and we are in a pandemic. We are going through on and off recessions, but when you consistently can't find work or not even trying to find like steady work, like, especially if you're a healthy man, like, that's corny to me. If you're not, I think it's easier for men to find work than it is for women, especially if you can use your hands. If you're not even trying to, like, and you know what else? If I know you have children and you don't take care of your kids, besides the $30 a week you give in child support every other week.
Yeah, that's big broke activity right there. You can't take care of your kids, for sure.
I partake in, and I feel like, I've dated below my price, my worth range before financially, and it does not end well sometimes because sometimes guys be like, oh well, all I can give you is this. They try to play the victim game, and that shit is so corny to me. So broke, men don't stay. Real men who's about their business don't stay broke for long. They always find a way. So I feel like if you don't have that hustle ambition, like trying to get it for you or get it for your family, yourself, like you broke.
Nah, I feel that 110%. I feel that 110%.
And it's not even about like, oh, you could work at Target and not be broke. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not sure if where I am right now that would be the man that I would, set a future with, but I would commend you a lot more.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Like, even that, like, for me, like, you broke down basically what broke is and how you see it from a woman's perspective. As a man, like, and I'm strictly talking about like strictly men because we were talking about something in the chat just now. Um, if you can't take care of basic finances, like if your cell phone be off, like I've had
You
myself
don't have a plan? Like,
right.
get
If, you not,
natural.
if your cell phone off and you don't got no plan, that's crazy. That's crazy.
And there be broke women too.
But,
Don't get it twisted. There's
oh
broke
yeah,
women out there too.
listen.
That I'm not gonna be like, oh, they depend on the government or welfare, because that's fake. That's a narrative that they put on black women, especially to try to make them less desirable to the masses. But there are women out there who won't get it unless a man gets it for them, and that's broke.
Oh yeah, that's super broke activity right there. Nah, that's big broke activity when you have to depend on your partner to get you where you need to go. Yeah, like I can understand one thing you lost your job and you're trying to find something your partner is helping you out,
Yes, of course. We
and but
all
yeah,
we
and you're
all have our
trying.
moments. We all
Yeah.
have our moments. You know what I'm saying? Like, we could be, and I always say this, you could be up today and down tomorrow. Like, we
Hmm.
are all, most of us are one or two paychecks short from poverty. So let's not even, no matter how much money we make and this and the third, like, we are closer to poverty than we think we are. So I'm not
Right.
gonna sit there and be like, oh, because if you make minimum wage, you do this, you broke. But I feel like if you don't want better for yourself, you already coming with a broke mentality, or you're that type of guy who goes online and be like, oh, I don't want to get married because, oh, I don't want to have to sign a prenup. Like, what you got? Or I don't want to go out on a date with a woman and spend money. Like, what? Like, that sounds corny to me.
I've heard a lot of guys say, and I've said it once before, but really, I've really thought about it, and I'm like, huh, that's not a good reason. A lot of guys say that, oh, I don't want to be married because um, I'm not financially stable.
That's fair. You can say that now, especially when you're,
Hmm.
all right, when you're in your early 30s or your
Hmm.
late 20s. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think in your early 30s, that's when you start to kind of look to start settling down. If you're not financially stable enough to get married at the moment, you get what I'm saying? Like, that's a fair assessment. But to say I don't want to get married because I don't want her getting my money and you work off the books part time, like, make it make sense.
Off the books part time. Like,
Off the books part time, no health insurance, no dental insurance, no insurances of any kind, no car insurance, no phone insurance,
no
nothing.
phone insurance.
Nothing. And the thing is like, even if you live at home with your parents and you are still like not having to pay bills, like you're not even stacking nothing for yourself, like just in case, like that's broke behavior to me.
Yeah, that shit is completely insane to me.
And
Completely
there's
insane
a
to me.
lot of people who think that way. You know what I'm saying? And the thing is nowadays, because this generation, I don't know if it's the bath salts generation that these kids, but they don't believe in dating. They just believe going straight for the gusto. Like, all you gotta do, it's like, I'll never forget. I gave my number to somebody a couple of months ago, and they was like, "Oh," I was like, "All right, so when we gonna go out?" He said, "Yeah, you can come to my house." Like, why am I coming to your house? Like, you just want me to just come to your house? You don't know me from a a can of paint. Just
That's
come
not a
here.
yeah. That's not a date.
That's not a
That's not a
date.
date. That's not a date. That's not a
That's
date.
not a date.
Now saying just come to my house and not having anything planned, I can understand. You said, "Hey, come to my house. I'm gonna cook for you. This, that, and the third.
I don't want to be
Lay
in your
it
house
out."
the first time I'm
No,
hanging out with you.
right? No, but just I think just saying you're gonna do it. Like for me, I'm not gonna bring nobody to my crib the first time. Anyway, no, that's no,
And
that's
that's,
slow.
and a woman expect, and not a
But
woman not wanting that doesn't make her a gold digger or anything like that. It's like you
Absolutely
don't
not.
have to spend a lot of money on a date to have a good date. You don't. You get what I'm saying? Most of us live in New York City. Like you could find something to do. You get what I'm saying? But instead of like busting it open in some $40 hotel spot, like or going to somebody mama dusty crib that they got roses. What? Like make it make sense. And you know
Somebody
who
just
tries hardest to date? Married men. They try harder than single guys. They do. They do. They
I
do.
don't, I don't get it. I
I
don't
don't
get
get
it.
it. But y'all
What?
generation, you a
Yo,
little
date your wife, fam. Date your wife.
y'all a little younger than me. You know what I'm saying? So y'all a little. You see me. I remember at least a guy trying to fool you just a little bit. Like, we all know what you want at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's obvious. We get it. You know what I'm saying? But it's like so many women have allowed men to just like take them out for weed and the hotel, and that's it. I have to hold on a second. I gotta take this.
Yeah, that is extremely crazy. Like when we really sit down and really think about it, like long term, like people just don't understand what the dating thing is nowadays. But moving forward onto some sports. I'm gonna talk about James Harden for a little bit. And I was watching ESPN today. I was watching First Take, and I heard, oh, first of all, shout out to Amari Stoudemire for being on. Amari Stoudemire has actually left the Brooklyn Nets staff, and he was on First Take to kind of, give his input on the playoffs and a little bit of Kyrie stuff, a little bit of James Harden stuff, and more or less the James Harden stuff. He basically he didn't he didn't specifically say it, but it looked like James Harden quit on this team, and he wasn't the only person who thought that. Kendrick Perkins thought that, and so did Stephen A. Smith. Looked like he didn't do it on purpose. It looked like he was playing bad on purpose. And I wonder why a player of his caliber, who's probably going to get a $54 million per year contract for the next 5 years, is going to be playing like he doesn't want to play anymore. And then I broke it down. I thought about it, and then they broke it down on First Take, and it all makes sense. If we look at Houston, whenever James Harden didn't want something, it immediately went away. So we're gonna start with Chris Paul. When Chris Paul, well, no, I'm sorry, we're gonna start with Dwight Howard. When Dwight Howard was there, say what you want, and people can say what they want about Dwight Howard. At that time, when they got Dwight Howard was still a top 10 player in the league. You got Dwight Howard, and you didn't like Dwight Howard, so Dwight had to go, right? You got Chris Paul. Chris Paul on his way to being one of the best point guards of all time. Not on his way, but he's arguably one of the best. He's definitely top three point guards of all time. And top four. Yeah, top four. Top three, top four. Yeah, in that range. But the point guard is one of the best point guards ever. And he couldn't get along with James Harden. And it's not Chris Paul, it's James Harden. So guess what? Chris Paul to Oklahoma City. Right?
I'm so sorry about that. It was work.
No,
But
it's cool.
James Harden is
Mhm.
exactly what I've been saying he's been for the since we started this podcast. I feel like last night was no different than the James Harden of old that, he does not show up in key moments. And this is
Mhm.
something that I've always said. You know what I'm saying? They put him on these MVPs, they put him on these this and these lists and stuff like that. And I'm thinking, why? Why? My thing is show up when it matters. You have
Man,
Embiid out there who shouldn't be out there at all. You get what I'm saying? He is fighting for his life there, and you take two shots in a do or die game, and then you want to turn around and make all this other money, and you're probably going to get it because of your name, not because of what you've shown to the team. I think that's so crazy to me, but this is where we are. But James Harden he gets the donkey of the week basically for sports.
man gets a donkey of the year for the NBA.
The last couple of years because he was the same way at the Brooklyn Nets. The same way. And the thing is too, it's like at what point do you be like, well, look, this guy he had great moments, but does great moments make a great player? That this is what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? Because great players would know to step up to the plate. If you don't got it, you're gonna make sure your team got it. If you're cold that night, you're gonna find other ways to hustle. I might be cold with shooting, but you know what? I'm gonna assist. I'm gonna rebound. I'm gonna play defense. I'm gonna do something else. I'm gonna pull out another weapon in my arsenal. I'm not just gonna stand there, commit turnovers, and look crazy.
The problem with James Harden and it's crazy if we go back and we killing Ben Simmons, but he basically did the same thing Ben Simmons did.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's worse from Harden.
Yes, it's worse from
It's
somebody who
worse.
is quote unquote one of the best scorers of all time to only take 2 shots in the second
It's
half.
worse. The thing is, you
Like,
can't even put Ben Simmons in the same category as James Harden. You can't do that. And I think
you
it'll be
can't.
a disrespect to Ben Simmons because at the end of the day, James Harden has done this on many teams. He's done it in the Thunder days. He's done it in the Houston days. He's done it in the damn Brooklyn Nets days.
Hmm.
You're playing on these teams that have potential to do better, and it's riding on you. You want that superstar contract? You know what I'm saying? What are you doing to get it? Like my thing is, you know why people don't say the stuff about KD? You know why people don't even say the stuff about Kyrie? Because they have rings to show for it.
Hmm.
You get what I'm
And
saying?
they were part of the reason that their teams got
Yes.
to where needed to go.
At certain parts, yes, you could talk about Kyrie's productivity when he went to Boston. You could talk about his productivity as a Nets and the distractions. But to be honest with you, when you have a moment to show and prove, it's like when has James Harden shown and proved? When it
Hmm.
counted. We're not talking about playing the Knicks in 2017-18 and then posterizing everybody on the roster who's not even on the roster now. We're not talking about playing against the Bucks before Giannis or this team before that or having these thrilling games before the All-Star break when it doesn't even count. We're talking about during the playoffs. What moment has James Harden had during the playoffs that's memorable? When they played, who did they get swept against back in the days? Was it? It wasn't LeBron and the Heat, was it? But they got
Who?
swept.
Who?
The Oklahoma City Thunder.
You talking about in the finals?
Yes. Didn't they make the
Yeah,
finals?
they 4-1. They lost 4-1 to the Heat. No, I think they got swept in the finals by the Heat.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like he's gonna be remembered as somebody who's overrated. I'm sorry, and I know I don't really throw around the overrated tag that much. There are a handful of people who I say are overrated. I always say I always say Jordan. I always say Aaron Rodgers. I say
Hmm.
Michael Jordan, Aaron Rodgers, James Harden, and it's sad because try do something. Yeah, they lost to the Heat 4-1,
Yeah,
and he was the sixth man of the year. He was coming off the bench, and then he fought to be the face of a franchise. He went to the Houston Rockets after being the third cog or the fourth cog on the wheel at Oklahoma. He went to the Rockets. What did the Rockets do that was so great when he was there?
nothing. Go 0 for damn 30 from the 3-point line in damn fourth quarter of a game.
He had, to me, he had one stellar season, and that was the season that he became um MVP.
Yeah, that's definitely not even then. My problem with James Harden is you can do all of that in the regular season. When it's your time to shine in the playoffs and the spotlight is on you, you fold every single time. Every single time. Not one playoff series or closeout where it was a big game has James Harden performed to make me be like, you know what? Yeah, yeah, not every single time. I've had arguments about this in the past. I'm like, I don't care how good of a scorer James Harden is. When the game is on the line, when the playoffs is on the line, a trip to the finals was on the line, and it was you. Nothing.
I think they went
Not
to the Western Conference Final
Hmm.
one time. I
uh,
think that was the same NBA. That was the same MVP season, right? And they lost to the Golden State Warriors. Let me
Yep.
tell you something. I don't like I said. James Harden is best known for his time at the Rockets. You know, a lot of people don't remember his time at Oklahoma City. You know what I'm saying? Some of us do, but not a lot of us do.
He
And
choked.
yeah, he's a choke artist. And the thing is, don't disrespect Ben Simmons and put him on the same category as James Harden. James Harden was supposed to be up there with the Durant, with the LeBrons, with the Stephs, with the
He's a,
Clay. Like he was supposed to be in those same discussions.
Well, he's on the NBA 75 list, ain't he?
Yes, he
Don't,
is.
don't know why.
Why?
Not no
and,
more. I don't know why.
and we talked about the NBA 75 list. There's a lot of people who shouldn't be on there.
And he is one of them.
He's one of them.
So it's Dame, and I'm a big Dame Dollars fan. I don't think Dame should have been on that list.
You
Not with
know,
no accomplishments.
I think that was premature.
Yeah.
Dame being on the list is a participation award because he's not going to get past the second round.
I feel like you're trying to disrespect my man Dame Dollars. Trying not to go that route. I felt like I walked in on the right moment where we start shitting on the great Aaron Rodgers. I'm feeling some type of way.
Oh no, not yet.
Can I just say also?
Yes.
I really thought Dame Dollars or whatever the hell y'all call him, Damian Lillard. I didn't realize he was in the league as long as he's been in the league. And to be honest with you, knowing that, there's no way he needs to be on nobody's 75 list. He's not even on 125 list.
I mean, I agree. I don't think he should be on the list.
NBA 200.
That's too far.
I really thought that this guy was just made the league a few years ago. I really forgot all about Damian Lillard until last year they had a thrilling playoffs, and then nothing. What did they do this year?
Well, he was injured this year.
He didn't play this season. I don't think I saw a Trailblazers game at all.
But he got hurt, and then they traded C.J. McCollum. They traded away that
Now we're not talking about
their whole roster.
We're not talking about the other players right now. I want to talk about the 75. I want to talk about the top 75. I want to talk about James Harden being a punk. And I hate to say that because I hate to talk about professional athletes like they're calling them names like that. Like I hate to do stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? But like you had Joel Embiid who had what? Isn't LeBron and LBJ? Isn't that the same person?
He gave LeBron the top 3 spots and then
Bird.
Magic and Jordan.
Okay.
No. Yeah, that was wild.
Sound like a broad sexual to me.
No, we're not gonna use those derogatory terms in the show. You already know. You already know where you already know.
Matt in Facebook jail, y'all. Matt
I'm in Facebook penitentiary for no reason.
He deserves it. I don't feel that one.
Oh, for telling the truth?
No, it's not the truth. Your opinion.
It is the truth.
You said it in private. You had to turn around and say it in public, and you know that Zuckerberg is watching. So why you did that?
I mean,
once you get put in Facebook jail once, that's it.
You always on parole.
Yeah.
This is the second time.
Yeah, you got one more.
Yeah, then you on 60 after that, bro.
Like, why? What? Well, why? Why you gotta call people hoes and stuff in public? Like, you got your point perfectly across to your group, who agreed with you in private.
The world needs to know.
Hold on. You got all the validation you needed. Why is my phone ringing?
You also could have did it on Twitter, where it's the Wild West, and it'd been all right.
I'm still trying to understand Twitter. I'm really trying to understand Twitter. Facebook is I got the biggest following on Facebook, so it's like
That sound like the oldest motherfucker of all time, bro.
I am.
You still can't call people hoes in the N-word on Twitter.
But the N-word slipped. I don't know how. It just popped
just
up.
Forgot. And then the last time
really
you got suspended, wasn't it because you said somebody needed to get duct taped and raped?
No, that wasn't it.
So what was it? So what was it?
I said that I said somebody was a bitch. I don't remember who.
Nah, it was deeper than that, Matt. I'm sorry. We ain't gonna let you get on it a lot. You're not gonna come up on this show and lie to them people. That's what you're not gonna do.
I think I said somebody was a bitch. I forgot.
Nah, it was
the duct tape and butt rape shit. I just said that on air.
Yeah, no, I think you went on one of your tirades. Sometimes I go on the sports show page and I'd be like, Why is one of our participants in the show talking like this on our page? Like, I sit there and marvel at, like, you know what? I just shake my damn head because I'm like, yo, you know better.
Somebody got to do it.
No, it's not you.
I'm just saying, yo, Daryl Morey really is a hoe out in these streets. It's like
Yeah,
it's
okay. You see
bad.
how you said it now? Why you had to go and Twitter fingers it?
I was at work. I
So
was
please
mad.
don't. So please don't think that I'm gonna be walking around parading a free Matt T-shirt on Facebook when you's wrong as two left shoes.
Well, it's the Rico law. They they got Kiki.
Don't even come at me with no
They
Rico.
got Mike.
No Rico.
They got Mike. They said we was a whole. They said that we was a whole organization. It's the
I've been
Rico
on
law. They got all
Facebook.
of it.
I've been on Facebook longer than you two have been alive. I was one of the people who've been on Facebook since the beginning. I've never got my comments. My comments have never got me suspended off of Facebook.
They just started doing this shit last year.
No, it was like that a couple years ago too.
There was a lot of rappers before this show. I'm not gonna hold you, so I don't know.
They got more sensitive about everything.
Don't say sensitive. Don't say sensitive.
I'm talking about Mark Zuckerberg. I'm not talking about the
sensitive.
world.
It's
acting
not
like a bitch too.
You can't go in public and call people hoes and N-words and be like, oh yeah, why? Oh my God, why did I get suspended?
He really acting like a bitch though. Like he took my words out of proportion. I didn't mean it like that. I ain't say he gets paid to be a hoe. I just said he's acting like a hoe. There's a difference. Like he's doing the most for a score. James Harden was his scorer. He ended up getting a worse version of Ben Simmons. Because James Harden don't play defense.
Yeah, but the thing is, do you compare Ben Simmons? This is my question to you, Matt. Do you compare a Ben Simmons on the same level as a James Harden, though? Like this is what I'm saying. Would you compare those two?
You can't, even though they play the same position.
Right.
Ben Simmons is technically a forward/center. He just got point guard capabilities and he has court vision. But what makes him so unique is the fact that he's so tall and he's able to guard 1 through 5. So on an aspect, you get more bang for your buck getting Ben Simmons, but you lose because you lose your scoring with James Harden. But if James Harden is coming in the game and not scoring at all in the second half and only giving you 11 points and 9 assists, I can get 9 assists from Ben Simmons easily. And I can get him guarding the best player on the opposition team. James Harden serves no purpose with 11 points.
Right.
So in all honesty, I'm saying I feel like you're getting more bang with your buck if you get Ben Simmons. If James Harden continues to play like how he's been playing.
This is where I guess why I'm saying that you can't compare the two. You're not expecting the same productivity and leadership from Ben Simmons that you are from James Harden. What Joel Embiid showed on that court yesterday, was what the face of a franchise is supposed to do when their backs are against the wall and they can play at least enough. You get what I'm saying? Like, that is what competition is about, right? That should have been inspiring enough to a great player to give his best. Like I said, not every night you're going to have your shots off. But you bet if I can't shoot that night, you know what I'm doing? I'm rebounding. You know what I'm doing? I'm making sure that nobody, you know what I'm saying? Like, the Heat is not even that good of a team to me. They don't look scary to me at all.
Don't get me wrong. They're not scary. They're not.
They were scarier 2 years ago, to be honest with you. Right? My thing is, Philadelphia, James Harden's productivity or lack thereof, right, took Philadelphia from what could have been the first team, the top team sorry, I gotta go. Hold on.
It took Philly from the top team to basically a team looking like they would never supposed to be in the playoffs in the first place. Like,
I mean, but truth be told, Dre, me and you kind of spoke on this before.
Yeah.
Where Philly fucked up at wasn't Ben Simmons. Where they fucked up at is where they let Jimmy Butler go for Tobias
Harris.
and they let JJ Redick go. Those two players is what fucked them up because they gave Tobias Harris that $170 million contract and didn't give Jimmy Butler the $190 million contract for 5 years.
That was Elton Brand too.
Yep, like a ho. He a hoe too. He's a mega hoe because that wasn't even smart. You was a bounce away from winning the championship because there's no way in hell that I don't see the Sixers not beating that Milwaukee team to make it to the finals. And Kevin Durant being hurt and Klay Thompson getting hurt. Come on. You mean to tell me that Sixers team wasn't going to be prepared for that win, like to get that ring? So, I mean, ultimately, you literally was a bounce away from getting to the championship. And you should have to go against,
right. You not to say they had a fast track, but they were more likely to beat what's his name? They were more likely to beat
Milwaukee.
What's that team name? Milwaukee. Yeah. They were more likely to beat Milwaukee and they probably would have beat Golden State if Golden State was still as beat up as they were. For sure. Joel Embiid would have dropped off Draymond Green, and I like Draymond Green, but he would have dropped Draymond Green off. So,
I mean, Draymond Green did pretty good against Jokic, so I can't say that.
He did good with Jokic, but it reminded you know what it reminded me of? Remember that we were talking about the finals with like Andre Iguodala getting MVP, like the games where it was like, oh yeah, Draymond was playing great defense. And Jokic had like 30 and 15. I was like,
that's a fact. No, but meaning like he played good defense. He took an element out of Jokic's game and what made Denver so dangerous, where he forced the others to have to create their own shot and not Jokic having to set them up for shots. So that lowered his productivity for a little bit. Not a major amount, but enough for Golden State to make runs like they do. So he serves his purpose. But yeah, man, like the Sixers, they shit the bed with Tobias Harris, Jimmy Butler, and JJ Redick. And then it just kept going down Shit's Creek with each season.
And they're gonna mess around and Maxey not gonna want to be there with James Harden because James Harden playing like a hoe. Like,
well, he's due for a big contract right now, actually.
But my thing, and they broke it down on First Take. James Harden basically would be due for 50. He would have average about 54 million for the next 5 years.
Fuck that. He ain't worth that.
Like at this point, at this point, we was killing Westbrook. I'm sure Embiid probably would have had rather Russell Westbrook, who's gonna take 1,000 shots, and he might miss 900 of them motherfuckers. But
no, fuck that. Embiid would have wanted Ben Simmons because at least somebody would have been trying to hold Jimmy G buckets because nobody could stop that man last night. Nobody. So that's where they missed Ben Simmons. They have nobody to hold that man, especially once Danny Green went out. Thibault was just limited, so it was just
none of them was holding Jimmy Butler anyway. But like, I get you.
You stand a chance with Ben Simmons.
You stand a better chance with Ben Simmons and letting basically Tyler Hero beat you than to let Jimmy Butler, who really don't want to score like that, he wants to pass the ball, like snipe you from the whole game. Like what?
My favorite scene of yesterday was Jimmy Butler walking to his locker room. Tobias Harris over me? He dead said that, Tay. Jimmy Butler walked to the locker room and said, Tobias Harris over me?
Okay, Jimmy didn't sell down now too. Okay, let me tell you something. I get it, but he about to get into my Dame Lillard argument too.
I don't know if you can put him there. At least he's been to the finals. Like at least Damian Lillard don't know what the second round after the second round smell like.
Yeah, because Jimmy Butler was coached. It's basically being co-coached by the second greatest coach of all time.
Who fault is that?
Pat Riley.
Who?
Pat Riley.
Oh, I thought you was about to say freaking
Eric
Tom
Spoelstra?
Thibodeau. I was about to say no, him. Get fuck out of here. Look, I like Spo.
He been in the league longer than damn Dame Lillard.
Another playoff game. Yo, Dallas and Phoenix, they ain't been throwing blows at each other. And Phoenix gonna mess around, get knocked out the playoffs.
They are.
Like Dallas not gonna make the finals, but they gonna mess around.
I'm not gonna hold you. I'm picking
out.
Dallas for Game 7, bro.
Yeah.
I'm picking Dallas for Game 7.
There was something in Luka's eyes that looked evil last night.
Luka's pissed.
But
it's only but so much. It's only but so much you could play hero ball too.
That you say dirt. That's Larry Bird Jr. That is Larry Bird Jr. That white boy is crazy.
You know how I feel about Larry Bird, so I ain't even gonna go.
I get it, but I'm just saying as far as remember how everybody thought Larry Bird was not as good as people were making him out to be. But then
I'm one of those people.
Yeah.
You one of those people who thought he wasn't good? And then he was dropping off. Yeah, and then he was dropping off everybody to his back.
He played in the league against guys who
So did Michael. I know what you're about to say. Michael did the same thing.
I ain't gonna disrespect the greatest of all time like that.
We can't give Magic no credit either. Then Magic plays against the same people.
The league had the most wealth of talent spread across teams this generation more than the past, because Michael was going in against that left shrimp and Greg Ostertag.
Please don't bring up Pete's favorite players of all time. On John Sally.
And posterizing guys like, Sam Cassell.
I like Sam Cassell.
Maxwell.
He also posterized Patrick Ewing too.
Why you gotta bring up old shit for?
Everybody.
That gotta be old shit, right?
Everybody had you wouldn't make your stripes in the NBA in the 90s if you did not posterize Patrick Ewing.
That's saying a lot, and it hurts my heart.
He didn't posterize Hakeem Olajuwon, did he?
Who could?
Okay.
That's hard. That's hard.
Okay, but he the GOAT.
Hakeem studied the art of get the fuck out the way.
Yeah.
Jordan also studied Hakeem Olajuwon's footwork.
Jordan played all them greats when they were drying up like raisins, like turning from prunes to raisins. Like, this is what I'm saying. Like, even I would say, like, the wealth of talent that we've seen in the NBA over the past 20 years is unparalleled to any other generation. Any other generation, you have better teams. But this generation, you have better players.
I think Jordan's hardest matchups in the playoffs, Isaiah Thomas, because before Isaiah Thomas got injured and everything.
So he played with Spike.
It was Isaiah Thomas.
You mean Joe Dumars?
Isaiah Thomas.
Yeah.
Joe Dumars.
Yes, Isaiah Thomas and Joe Dumars. Joe Dumars was punching.
And Dennis Rodman.
Yeah. That Detroit Pistons team, that little 5-year little bubble, that they were probably like the upstart, and when they won there too, those Detroit Pistons, young Shaq and Penny.
No,
I said the hardest because he didn't play.
Jordan didn't play him.
No,
Jordan didn't play. Year.
Yeah, he played them the second year. The year that they smoked him. Yes.
Yeah, but that doesn't. To me, that doesn't really count. You know what I'm saying?
45. We're not counting the 45 years.
I'm not counting that because he left the league because he was about to get indicted for like gambling and stuff like that. So he left the league and played baseball. So look, then let's not lie and say the Knicks didn't give them a run for their money.
Oh no, I was getting to the Knicks.
Let's not lie.
The Knicks were up top.
Let's not lie and say that Reggie Miller and Rick Smith didn't give them a run for their money either too. So let's start from the bottom. Start from the bottom because Shaq and Penny was an overrated duo too.
Cleveland used to get.
They got smoked.
Yeah.
They got smoked in the finals. They got smoked that finals
by one of the best centers ever. Yeah,
but they were outclassed and outmatched.
The Bulls would have got smoked too by Olajuwon too. And
I don't know.
Yeah.
Not the first year.
Luke Longley would have held Olajuwon down.
Never.
Right? The same way Shaq did.
Never.
If Olajuwon was dropping on Shaq,
never.
If Olajuwon is dropping on Shaq, he man, imagine
But
what
I
he's gonna
think
do
that
to
Shaq. I
anybody
think
on the court.
Olajuwon would have won that battle though against Shaq though.
He did.
I
You
mean,
talking about prime
literally,
Shaq or you talking about Orlando Shaq?
I'm talking about all Shaqs, even Shaq now, even
I
Miami Shaq,
don't know.
Miami
even the
Shaq
know.
was
Lakers.
Miami
Even the
Shaq was
Lakers Shaq.
garbage. Miami Shaq was garbage.
Do you remember when he went to the Cavaliers? He said he go win a ring for the King.
Yeah, and
I
then
remember that.
they got traded. He got traded the next year.
They didn't do that. He didn't.
That's
He
when I
didn't
made
win
him
a
a
ring
sell.
for
That's
the
when I
King.
named him a sellout. He was a sellout after that.
I feel like the Jordan. Yeah, you're right. Jordan and company would not have, especially when they got Barkley the next year.
You talking about the Rockets?
Yeah.
No, well, if it's that, then I think I don't want to see them two old ass teams go against each other. I'm talking about.
And then
prime
also,
Olajuwon.
you know what? Seattle. Let me tell you something too. A lot of people don't remember that series, but that Seattle Supersonics Chicago Bulls series for the '96 championship, there were moments where it was looking kind of scary. They pushed them to game 6.
Oh yeah,
when Gary Payton was holding Jordan,
strapping up Jordan, quote unquote,
Locking
and Jordan was laughing at him.
Yeah, but you know, he's laughing now, but he wasn't laughing in game 3. He wasn't laughing.
Oh yeah, he definitely wasn't
6.
laughing at 3.
He was not laughing.
3.
Let me tell you something.
Had him holding him the whole
Let me tell you
series.
something. If Karl Malone wasn't a full-on rapist, a deadbeat dad, and a whole hoe, you know what I'm saying? Like I would have
You
wanted.
can call people hoes.
No, but she's not calling people hoes on Mark Zuckerberg's Facebook.
And then the thing is, she didn't even. You see, if I was gonna call somebody a hoe on Facebook, I would at least change the privacy to friends.
I thought I did that.
No, you did not.
You put it inside our group with public.
Yeah, but anyway, they were whole hoes. Like, fuck. What's his name? Karl Malone. He hates the skin that he's in. Okay, he's a rapist. Statutory rapist, by the way. He got a 16-year-old girl pregnant and then take care of the baby. 13?
Yeah.
Oh, that makes it better. And then he don't take care of the kids either. He never took care of the kids either. He never accepted his kids.
Well, he's a mailman. What do you expect?
I expect a man to have kids to take care of his kids.
Wherever he lays his head is his home.
And you know who's just as worse as him? His wife. Because she stayed with his ass. He's been married for 30 years.
Yeah,
trying to get with Kobe's wife? He was married for 30 years?
Yes.
And he was snitching. And he was snitching too? Oh, man, that's crazy.
Now, that's a hoe. He is a whole hoe.
Anyway, moving because that conversation is going to turn that conversation is going to turn crazy too.
I never liked Karl Malone. So.
He's a whole hoe. So I'm not even going to talk about the Utah Jazz. Okay? That whole team, he could go right. They could take that finals and shove it right up their ass. Because you know how I feel. But anyway, there were many times where the Bulls looked beatable in a way that the freaking Miami Heat didn't look beatable in 2011-12. You know what I'm saying? There was times that the Golden State Warriors looked almost invincible, and they were running through roughshod through a league that had this person, that person, these people, that people, they mama, they daddy. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I can't say that Jordan is the GOAT. Like if I play basketball against freaking 7th graders, I'm gonna smash them.
Oh, you're the GOAT. No, you're the GOAT.
I'm supposed to, yeah.
I mean, well, I would hope so. You got at least 2 feet on for real.
Yeah, but you haven't grown since the 4th grade, and you talk about me.
I'm just saying, you have an advantage.
She also got 2 feet on you too, though.
So exactly, you have an advantage. Use it to your advantage.
Okay, you have a disadvantage.
I know.
You've been the same height since elementary school.
Not necessarily. I did get a growth spurt
grade.
My 11th grade, 12th grade.
Yeah. No. I don't know. My goat wouldn't eat pizza from Utah either, so I'm not sure.
But you know what? They messed up. They should have did that pizza trick in game 3. Who had home court advantage? I think if they played game 6, that means
Utah had game court advantage.
Utah had the better record both years.
Okay, so then you do something like that in game 1.
It didn't help. They still lost that game.
It didn't
you
help.
know why they lost? You know why they lost? because
What's the
Karl
name? Can't
Malone
hold
is
Jordan.
a disgusting piece of trash that did not deserve a ring. That's why when
And
he went to the Lakers, they didn't win.
John Stockton
He's
is
one of
overrated.
the worst championship teams I think I have ever seen in my life.
You said John Stockton's overrated?
Yep,
I
I
don't
said
think
what I said.
he's overrated.
I said what I said.
You've
He's
said
not-
that before. You said
He's
that.
not a top 5 point
No,
guard. I'm not doing that.
that's
I said what
tough.
I said.
I can give you overrated, but I can't give you not a
Not
top 5 point guard.
I
All
think
you got is assists.
I
That's all
think
you
as
got.
the game evolves, you have the ranking evolves with it. I think for the time that he played, he was top 5 and wasn't 2
Mhm.
I can name 5 point guards better than him.
during that time.
No, I can name 5 point guards in general better than him.
I'm not talking about that. I'm just saying, like, I'm agreeing that as time evolves, like you can't say that he's better than this person or better than that person now. You know what I'm saying? Like, you think he's overrated, but I think Jason Kidd was overrated, and I love Jason.
Oh, oh, that hurt my soul. Oh my gosh.
You wildin'.
No,
You gotta explain to me how
I
you
gotta
just gonna
explain a goddamn.
defecate
All I gotta
on
do is stay black.
on the great
All I
Jason
gotta do is
Kidd.
stay black, eat chicken, and lay down and pay taxes.
I don't even really care for Steve Nash like that. Steve Nash is a better point guard than
Steve
John
Nash is
Stockton.
Steve Nash is overrated.
I'm not disagreeing with you.
I can't give you both John Stockton and Steve Nash. Like
2 MVPs.
One of them.
Bro, you're not doing it. Don't do this, man.
You can't do both. You can't say both are overrated. If you had to go with who's the overrated one out of the two, if you had to say who was overrated out of the two, I'm gonna go with Nash.
Oh, me too. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
No!
I'm not gonna go against the guy who's the all-time leader in assists versus the guy who stole.
Malone.
Ooh. Like,
ooh.
So we forgot Karl Malone is not a top 5 scorer of all time. We forgot that.
Yeah, we should. We should scrap him. We should scrap him.
Yeah, we should remove his records then. Like,
yeah.
But I'm just saying that's the only reason why his assists is popping like that. Let's keep it a bean. Like Steve Nash made everybody around him better. That's what I equivalent to a
but like who? Amari Stoudemire, who couldn't stay healthy for one season,
Joe Johnson, Rajah Bell, Boris Diaw, Rajah Bell, Joe Johnson.
They're not great players though.
But he made them better.
I gotta take this.
All right. He made them better. John Stockton, you can't name nobody else on that Utah Jazz team that John Stockton made better other than Karl Malone. I'll wait. I'm looking in the comments. I don't see nobody saying nothing. Nobody can't tell me who John Stockton made a made man or made him better or made him great other than Karl Malone. Got Steve Nash. I got Jason Kidd, Chris Paul, a.k.a. point guard, Magic Johnson, Isaiah Thomas, who's way better than John Stockton. Nobody want to give that man credit, but it is what it is. We need to be realistic, people. John Stockton is not as great as everybody make him out to be. He's great, but he's not a top 5 point guard. He's not better than Isaiah Thomas.
He's not a top 5 point guard right now, but like Tay said, for his time when he was playing, yes, he was.
I don't know. It's debatable.
When he was playing, there was nobody better than him. Outside, you can debate Magic Johnson and Isaiah Thomas. I'll give you Isaiah Thomas and Magic over John Stockton. I give you them both over John Stockton. But basketball purists will be like John Stockton over everything because of the damn near 12,000. How many thousand assists that he has? I get it. Cool. But in terms of Steve Nash, nah. I can't give Steve Nash both those MVPs, and we both know we can't give Steve Nash both those MVPs.
But he got it for a reason because he made his team.
And Andre Iguodala got a Finals MVP after being dropped off the whole series.
I agree with you.
The shit don't make no sense. Like,
I agree with you. But okay. Name somebody on that Utah Jazz team that he made other than Karl Malone.
Jeff Hornacek.
Get the fuck out of here. Really? Stop. You don't. No, hell no, no. Not even. I'm not even accepting that shit. You gotta relax. I'm not even
Jeff
doing that.
Hornacek. Jeff Hornacek.
No, that is some Pete shit. You know that, right? That's some
Yes.
real Pete shit. No, hell
All right,
no.
all right,
I'm not
all
even
right.
allowing it. Yeah,
All
you're
right,
wilding. But we can
all right.
name we can name a lot of players Steve Nash made better. Just like we could do the same thing with Magic Johnson. We could do the same thing with Isaiah Thomas. We could do the same thing with Jason Kidd. Hell, we could do the same thing with Gary Payton. Jerry
Isaiah
West.
Thomas. How many players Isaiah Thomas made better? Because he looked like he only made Joe Dumars and what's his name better, and Bill Laimbeer better. Can't say he made Dennis Rodman better because Dennis Rodman is not an offensive
That was
player.
your rebound. That was rebound and defense.
Yeah. So you give me, I'll give you Joe Dumars and Bill Laimbeer.
That's two. That's two to John Stockton's one.
Two.
Two to John Stockton's one.
John Stockton got two.
He got one.
1.5.
Stop. You stop. Ain't nobody checking for Jeff Hornacek. Stop.
Man,
Gotta
Antoine.
stop.
He made my man the Antoine Carr real good.
You got him. All right, I'm about to peace out.
Wait. What was that dude? Oh, my man.
You better not.
The Jordan stopper.
I'm about to go.
No. All right.
You really on some Pete shit now. You really. You
Nah, I'll play it. But moving forward, Giannis and the Bucks versus the Celtics. Let me tell you something about Mr. J. Rue, Mr. Clamp God, Drew Holiday. Man, oh man,
most underrated player of all time.
Who?
Drew Holiday is the most underrated player in the NBA. I'm not gonna say all time, but he's the most underrated player in the NBA. And
it's been like that for at least 6-7 years.
Yes.
At least 6-7 years.
Okay.
But the Bucks and the Celtics series is probably one of the best.
Whoa. You agree?
That wasn't a full out agreement. That was like, all right.
No, because I know that people be bugging. Because at the end of the day, Jason Kidd is overrated and Steve Nash is overrated and John Stockton. Well, I could give you one or the other. If Jason Kidd is overrated, not Jason Kidd. If John Stockton is overrated, Jason Kidd is overrated too.
Nah. Steve Nash got to be overrated too. Then they all got to be overrated too together.
No, if I'm taking all three, if I'm taking one of those threes, the goal of the point guard is to help motherfuckers get points.
Okay. And
so you're not gonna lead. You're not gonna have the guy who has the most assists of all time. You're gonna call him overrated.
And the guy with the third most assists all time, he's gonna be overrated too.
Jason Kidd.
Jason Kidd is not far off.
Yeah, but you can't say that he's better than John Stockton though.
Oh no, absolutely not. No. I'm not saying Jason Kidd is better.
I think Jason Kidd was more well-rounded. I think Jason Kidd was well-rounded.
Is Jason Kidd better than John Stockton, Matt?
Yes. Hell yes. Bro, John Stockton is a top 10 point guard. He is not a top 5 point guard.
So
I think we got to kill that.
Who is the top 5 point guards of all time? I don't want to add. Let me say from that era. I want to go between 1990 and 2000.
All right. Let me see if I can do that. Can we count Magic Johnson still?
Yeah.
No.
Okay, Magic. Yes. He's still playing.
Didn't he play one season?
2.
No, Magic Johnson wasn't the best point guard in those 2 seasons.
Who cares? He's still in there. He counts.
Okay, Stephen A. Smith. Go ahead.
All right, Isaiah Thomas, because he was still playing.
Isaiah Thomas? Oh.
Yes, he was still playing. He still was playing. Don't disrespect me, Jerry.
I didn't say he was playing, but Jesus, bro. Isaiah Thomas is on one leg by then. Really?
Hey, we ain't even going to count how many left foot John Stockton punk ass was on. We ain't going to do that.
John Stockton was on his way to the finals the next couple of years after that.
Because of Karl Malone. Like,
You see how y'all like to say because of this person, because of that person. So if that's the case, Jordan is the greatest because of Pippen.
I never said it wasn't. I'm not disagreeing with that.
It doesn't. So that means he doesn't stand alone as the greatest.
How you figure?
because he could.
Jordan don't do all those things without Pippen.
No,
serious?
with anybody. No,
So-
he doesn't. Not without Pippen. But I can say
I would
that.
say he doesn't win 6 rings without Pippen. To
I
say
don't-
that he
I don't
wasn't
think he
equally
wins- I don't
great.
think he wins. I don't think he wins half those rings without Pippen.
All right, I give you the rings, but the greatness was still there.
People wouldn't say that he wasn't great if he didn't have 6 rings.
You know who was great? Dominique Wilkins.
Yes, he was.
Oh my God.
Clyde Drexler was great.
We doing this
Clyde Drexler
again.
was great.
This
Clyde
what we
Drexler
doing.
and
And
Michael
no one
Jordan
cared about
were
Clyde.
like, yeah.
Nobody
This is what we're
cared
doing
about
right now.
Clyde until he went to the Rockets.
This is what we're doing
Nobody
right now.
cared about Clyde until he won that ring with the Rockets in '95. No one cared, and he was killing it in Portland. They gave the Bulls a run for their money in the early '90s during that other final.
We're still lost.
Yeah, but like I said, I count greatness as being able to inspire greatness on different teams.
All right, John Stockton, don't do that.
On different levels of teams, right? Jason Kidd, right? I love Jason Kidd. He's one of my favorite point guards of all time. But I'm not putting him above. I'm not putting him above Isaiah Thomas. I'm not putting him above Magic Johnson, and I'm not putting him above John Stockton.
I'm putting him above
Everybody else, to me, pales in comparison to Jason Kidd. Apart from those 3, and then now that I'm looking at it, Steph Curry.
Okay, you
But
cut me off at 2000
My only problem with Steph Curry is I don't find him to be a traditional point guard.
because he's not.
He's not.
Yeah, he's a shooting guard.
Yes.
All right, I'm about to switch over to the.
And I like, and let me tell you something. You know who I have after them? I have Chris Paul.
Yes. I think Chris Paul moves up someplace in that list.
Yeah,
Right.
but if I had to have my top 5 that I've seen play, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna put Chris Paul over Steve Nash. And I like Steve Nash. And I always like Steve Nash. But I'm going by productivity and team's impact. And I think Steve Nash is a great point guard. But if I had to choose between, if I had to look between John Stockton's stats and Steve Nash's stats, I'm going to go with Stockton every time. If I had to go by Stockton's stats and Jason Kidd, the only thing that puts Kidd a little bit above Stockton only because of 1 ring that Stockton didn't get.
Right.
That's it. But not about ability.
The only reason why I would put, I think Kidd's 3 finals appearances and Stockton's 2, and then Kidd winning the ring in action in them, and basically Jason Kidd spearheading those 2 of those finals appearances. Slight edge over Stockton in terms of that.
I think, and I only give Matt the edge because Kidd, when I'm looking back at Jason Kidd's career, he did do more with less.
The Nets team.
Yeah, the Nets team. The Nets team had a whole bunch of people who they looked like infants compared to the damn Lakers.
Twice. Took him there twice.
They look better than the 76ers. Where Allen Iverson, who people think is the greatest of all time, and I think
we might need to add him on that list too.
Not me. What has he done? Culturally, he's the GOAT.
I'm just saying I like him better than John Stockton.
I'm just saying culturally, Allen Iverson is the GOAT, but he's not remembered for a lot of the stuff that he did on the court. He's remembered for more what he did to the culture off the court and the crossover.
All right, give me my time frame of point guards, because if you're giving me 90 to 2000, I can't. You got to spread it. You got to.
Okay, who's your top 5 all time?
Magic Johnson, Isaiah Thomas, Jason Kidd, Steve Nash, and now Steph Curry.
So you're gonna put Steve Nash over John Stockton?
Yes. 2 MVPs.
No.
2 MVPs.
That's blasphemy to me.
It's not. It really isn't. It really isn't.
You see,
how many MVPs John Stockton got?
I told you.
I'm sorry. Is David Robinson better than Patrick Ewing?
He's never gonna win MVP.
Wait, is David Robinson better than Patrick Ewing?
David Robinson not better than Tim Duncan.
Okay, and didn't David Robinson win the MVP?
Patrick Ewing's injured all the time.
No. We got to use your
Patrick
logic.
Ewing was not. Hold on.
No.
Patrick Ewing was always hurt.
No.
Not in the 90s.
Not in the 90s.
During the
Not in
David
the 90s.
Robinson, time frame, yes,
Yes.
he was.
No, he wasn't. He was him and the Bull. He just couldn't get to the
He
finals.
couldn't get past the Bulls.
Yeah, he couldn't get past the Bulls.
What is the year David Robinson won MVP?
The year Elijah won the championship when Jordan wasn't playing, and that's the year.
90.
That's the year they put in the playoffs versus Pippen, where Pippen gave everything he damn had.
94-95 season. That's when that was.
I don't remember the next part. I don't even.
The Knicks were playing the Bulls.
The
They played the Bulls and lost to the Pacers.
You know
I don't remember.
They lost to the Pacers in Game 7, right? Patrick Ewing didn't start to get injured. He got injured in the 98-99 season when he went down with the Achilles. And that's when Marcus Camby was starting to be that new guy.
I like Camby though. I fuck with Camby. I like Camby though.
I'm just being honest. You know what I'm saying? So Patrick Ewing did not have a lot of injury-ridden years like some of these other guys have, but David Robinson was not better than Patrick Ewing.
I gotta look that up. I'm pretty sure something happened that year.
But what I'm saying,
nothing happened that year. Nothing happened that year to Ewing. Ewing was. I remember. You know what he did that year? You want to know what Patrick Ewing did? You want to know? Do you remember?
I'm listening.
Instead of dunking it on the Pacers, right? Because that was the same series where Reggie Miller scored like 6 points in 30 seconds.
Please,
right?
Why did you bring this up?
And this is the playoffs where Patrick Ewing did a finger roll of death.
Oh my god!
I'm just saying.
That's what Patrick Ewing did.
The reason why I brought up Patrick Ewing and David Robinson is because you said 2 MVPs.
Yeah.
David Robinson has an MVP, and what's his name? Ewing doesn't. But we don't think David Robinson was better than Patrick Ewing. This is not New York bias. This is straight facts.
And he got 2 rings.
Right. And I still don't think he's better than
skill wise. If you're going skill wise, Patrick Ewing is definitely better than better than David Robinson. Yeah. But if I'm going skill wise, Steve Nash is better than fucking John Stockton. Skill wise. Tell me what he can do other than give Karl Malone the ball. You can't name nothing.
Okay.
Steve Nash made everybody around him better.
Steve Nash and the Phoenix Suns were not always a team to beat. The Utah Jazz, after a while, became the team to beat.
Oh, you talking about when Steve Nash was on Phoenix?
Yeah.
Wasn't they the number 1 seed?
What did they do?
Got dropped off in the conference, I believe. But still,
they got dropped off. Yeah, you're right.
By the Spurs. It's neither there nor there, though. Come on.
Wait, so Tony Parker got 3 rings. He better than Steve Nash?
We're not gonna go that route. We're not gonna do
that.
We
got
him. He had Tim Duncan and Mono Ginobili and he. Come on, we ain't gonna do. And Steven Jackson. We're not gonna do that. Nash got 2 MVPs with Boris Diaw and Roger Bell. You just moving the goalposts now, Dre.
No. You talking about the king of moving the goalposts? Telling me I'm moving the goalposts?
You talking about the Spurs? I don't like them.
Steve Nash's teams never went to the finals.
No, I know that. I mean, what can you do when you're on Dallas and Phoenix? You got to get past the Spurs eventually and the Lakers.
Yeah, well.
So to go back to your point guard list, that is your list. You can have that. That's
going to put John Stockton on your list? That's what you're going to do?
I'm
disappointed in you, Dre.
My list.
I'm disappointed in
Magic Johnson, Isaiah Thomas, Jason Kidd, John Stockton, Chris Paul.
That's my list.
See, I just want to disrespect.
That's my same exact list.
Just disrespectful. So light skinned Jesus is not gonna get no love from no nigga. That's what y'all gonna do.
No, I'm not gonna give a combo guard the spot where people who made their teammates better.
Chris Paul
is a point guard. He's a point guard.
Chris Paul is the only. Chris Paul, this generation, is the only record. He's the only one on that list that resembles a true point guard.
Pete, Jesus Christ, you look rough.
What is with the hair?
Jesus Christ, bro.
You look like you look like an extra in Happy Days. What's that about, bro?
Not Happy Days.
Oh my God.
Listen, this is what happens when it's raining outside.
Okay, we don't want to hear all that. So who's your top 5 point guards of all time?
And you better not say John Stockton.
Who's your top 5 point guards of all time?
Who's gonna say John Stockton?
Magic Johnson's got to be on that list very easily. Isaiah Thomas has got to be on that list.
Don't give details. Just say the five. Just say the five.
He's gonna say,
Magic.
Say Bob Cousy. He's gonna say Bob Cousy. Watch.
He said Magic, Isaiah Thomas.
He's gonna
Magic,
say Bob Cousy.
Isaiah, Chris Paul, Stockton.
What the fuck, man?
And honestly, and Jason Kidd.
Yeah, I'm disappointed in all of y'all. Every last
Yo,
one of y'all.
Did you hear?
Y'all are
this man put
overhyping this
Steve
man.
Nash
Y'all
on
are
his top
overhyping
line
this man
all time.
So the only reason why, and here's the thing, I believe Steve Nash is an all-time great point guard. There's no doubt about that, but I don't think he cracks that top five because there's no way he goes past the greatest little guard ever in the history of the game in Isaiah Thomas. And you could even put, if you wanted to, you could say that Allen Iverson's up there as well, but Allen Iverson, like Steph Curry, was a combo guard. He played both 2 and 1. And so when you put that into the equation, yes, position-wise, he was a point guard, but he's known more for being a scoring guard more than anything. Jason Kidd is the master. Jason Kidd is the master of the triple-double. Made every franchise he ever played.
So you going that route? Russell Westbrook is better than John Stockton. Then
hold on.
You going that route? Exactly.
Jason Kidd made every franchise he ever played for better. And all I have to say to prove that is he took the Nets to 2. He took the Nets to back-to-back finals.
Who did John Stockton
He took the Jersey Nets to back-to-back finals. And the only time the Knicks have had a winning record in the last recent amount of years was when Jason Kidd was their point guard.
Thank you. That alone is why he's in the top 5. They had the Atlantic Division. I remember that year. He was number 2 in the conference.
And Jason Kidd at that point was damn near 65 years old.
Guess what happened to us?
Stop. Don't do it, Tay. You already brought up Patrick Ewing in that fucked up ass layup. Don't do it. I can't take it no more, Tay. Let it go.
Second round.
You can't eliminate him. You can't put Nash. You can't put Nash above Magic Johnson because Magic Johnson basically revolutionized the point guard position. If it wasn't for Magic Johnson, you don't have a point forward. That's it. If you don't have Magic Johnson, you don't have a point forward in the NBA. And the reason why I can't put him over John Stockton, very simply, is because John Stockton was hands down the best point guard in the NBA for a good 12-year period. You could not stop. You knew exactly the play John Stockton was going to run every single time he came up the court, and you could not stop it. John Stockton and Larry Bird have one thing in common. They are both badass white boys you cannot stop.
He's white? I didn't even know this.
Like John Stockton, everybody knew Stockton was coming down with the ball. He was going to drive, kick to Malone. Or John Stockton was going to come down, pick and roll, kick to Malone. Everybody knew what it was going to be.
So now you just said what I've been saying. Who the hell did he make better around him other than
He made that entire
Malone?
Utah Jazz team better.
Get the fuck out of here. No, he did not.
John Stockton is also
for the
top.
Bulls of the 90s, if it wasn't, and we could say this about a lot of teams. You could say this about a lot of teams, but if it wasn't for the Bulls of the 90s, John Stockton, Karl Malone, and that Utah Jazz team alongside Jerry Sloan would have had 2, maybe 3 rings in that era.
They didn't get nothing.
But a lot of teams got shut out of possible finals rings and victories because of the dominance of the 90s Bulls team. That's just what it was. The Knicks were shut out. The Pacers were shut out. The Jazz were shut out. The Sonics were shut out. Everybody, like all of those great teams. Listen, Houston did it right. The minute Jordan left, Houston got everybody together and said, yo, we doing this now because we don't know how big this window is. And Houston took advantage of that for back-to-back championships. But at the end of the day, like, you can very easily say the Utah Jazz could have won 2, maybe possibly 3 championships during that 90s era. The reason why that 90s Jazz team is so good is because of Stockton and Malone, but Malone is not where he is as a power forward without having the point guard that he had in John Stockton.
That's bullshit. That's bullshit,
So you think Karl Malone was just that guy? Because that's what it sounds like.
He's a fucking mailman, bro. You see the way he's built? See the way he's built?
So Karl Malone was that guy. That's what you're saying.
He was that rapist.
I don't like the disrespect that y'all have on Steve Nash.
Steve
Nash is a top 5 point guard. Y'all gotta relax.
We'll leave that as debatable, but
Russell
please
Westbrook
say it right here on this podcast that Karl Malone is that guy.
Oh hell no, I'm never doing that. I don't like Karl Malone.
No, I say it.
I'm never doing that. He's not Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I'm not gonna do that.
Moving forward. There's a question I asked Tay last week, and now that I have you guys on, I want to hear your answers to it.
Peace Swoop is distracting me.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
So black athletes versus black sports media. Why is it an issue between black sports media and the black athletes? Pete, I'm going to start with you.
I think it's a very simple answer. I feel like it's.
Hold on, before you answer, why are you in an alley? Like,
because I'm in Ridgefield Park, New Jersey, the site of my event next week. There is a show happening here tonight, and I'm here promoting for next week's show.
Okay, got you. Okay.
So I think it's a very tough issue because I think everybody's in a very, very delicate and weird space, right? Obviously, the black athletes look at the black media and they say, you are our people. We look to you to push the correct narrative that white sports media may not push. Protect us the way white sports media is not going to protect us. Tell our stories in the way that you understand as black sports media that white sports media is not going to understand. Give us the correct exposure that we can't get from white sports media. And so there's that expectation, I think, from black athletes. But at the same time, black sports media has the agency that white sports media does not to truly constructively criticize and call out black athletes. Because again, when white sports media does that, it has that tinge of, oh, here's another white person calling out a black person. Here's another white person talking about shit they don't understand or they don't know or speaking, unknowledgeably about a black athlete. And the black sports media, should be able to speak about and to those things that white sport media can't. And so when black sports media comes out there and lights up a black athlete, all of a sudden there's this offense, but this offense also comes from a place of, I expected you to have my back. I expected you to support me no matter what I did. And that's a very bad expectation because yes, we are there to support these athletes in a way that white sports media cannot. But at the same time, that doesn't mean that if you're doing something wrong, if you're doing something incorrect, if you're doing something you shouldn't be doing, that we're just supposed to sit there and clap you up and act like nothing ain't wrong. Like, like the room ain't stinking up. We're supposed to be able to call you out in a way that white sports media cannot because we're understanding, but we're calling you out from a perspective that is respectful. And that's the disconnect, I think, for me. The black athletes have an expectation that black sports media is supposed to support me no matter what, be on my side no matter what. And when the black sports media isn't, because they're calling them out for things they should be calling them out for, there's that vitriol that comes out of that.
Matt.
I trouble with this question, right? Because you want to be fair, and we walk this fine line of being honest and respectful, and yet holding people accountable without putting their head underwater per se, right? And that will be because when I hear this question, I'm thinking what Stephen A. Smith and Shannon Sharp, right?
Stephen A. Smith, Shannon Sharp, Perk, Michael Wilborn.
I wouldn't even go Michael Wilborn.
No, I'm talking about all black sports media, not just the ones that's like
Yeah, but all right. In particular, I'll use a Ben Simmons, right, as a reference, right? I think the fun narrative is to call the man soft, right? Not knowing exactly what's going on in his head, what's going on in his world, because he's not speaking out. He's not talking at all. All you hear is hearsay, right? So our job, right, as media is to spark the conversation, right? What could be going wrong? What could be the problem? Why is Ben Simmons not playing? What happened to his back? You know, what's going on with his head? Why is he not mentally there? Is that even real? Is he bullshitting us, or does he just want to get paid? Right? We spark that conversation, and then you got some media, some media that will crucify him and not even fully understand what's going on with him because he's not saying anything. And it just turns into clickbait. And ultimately, in our culture, we get shitted on regularly, right? That's what they got to do. That's what brings in the clicks. That's what brings in the buys and the money and all that other stuff. You get what I'm saying? It's understandable. But when you look at somebody that looks like you, probably live the same background as you, go through the same hardships as you, and then you look at him and then that person is not giving you a hand to get your face out the water, but putting your face deeper in the water, it leaves you wondering, is there anybody that's going to help me? Or is there anybody that's going to look out for me? Right? Because again, we're Black. We've gone through the struggles. We all face adversity. You would never think it'll be one of your own that does it to you. And it hurts. That plays a good portion of your mental psyche. So I just find it, like I said, I understand the job, because like it or not, we're part of the media. It's our job to talk sports and in every situations and spark conversations. But what I love about us mostly is that we're fairly objective. Don't get me wrong. I have my moments where I'm like, I'm over the top. But one thing you can never say that I've ever said was Ben Simmons is, lying about his mental health. I've never said that. I won't say that. I won't say what's really going on with Ben Simmons. Let him deal with it the way he deals with it. And when he's ready to get on the floor, he will get on the floor. I don't like that the narrative is he making it up. He just want his money. You're calling him a crook. If you look like me and that is your narrative, what do you think these white people are going to think? That's just is representation. And if you don't represent us or defend us or help us, you're just as bad as the other white media that don't give a fuck about us. That's how I feel about it.
I have a question for you, Matt.
What's up?
So I agree with you in the sense of, if your head's underwater and you need help, right, that we would look to people who are like our own to help us out of it. But why is there this expectation? And that when I put my own head underwater, I'm the one drowning myself, that all of a sudden people got to come and save me and can't tell me about myself. Because I feel like that's the bigger issue. I feel like Black athletes get upset and get their egos hurt. And let's take the Ben Simmons one out of it, because you're right about the mental health narrative, right? But I think Black athletes get their egos hurt and get very offended when Black media calls them out on their BS, as if we're supposed to just leave them be and not call them out on it.
So what's the question?
So what about those situations? Are we just supposed to sit there and clap our hands blindly and be like, no, there's nothing wrong. This is great. They're great. He's great. She's great. this is fantastic, this is fantastic? Or are we supposed to call you out? But then when we call you out, we're getting the vitriol because now we Uncle Tommen, or now we not defending you, or now this, that, and the third.
No, there's a difference from calling me out on my stuff and being held accountable, or spinning the narrative to make it more interesting for everybody to watch it. That's where,
well, that is the job of media.
Yeah, that's the job of media, but then you can't get mad when the athlete itself is sitting there like, wait, that's not true. Why are you playing in that? Why are you playing in that row? You know what I'm saying? So, and me, you, and Tavia, we've had these arguments about Kyrie Irving, and that quote that he said, it's more or less like these people are puppets, and the puppet masters are basically telling them what to say, and they're spinning the narrative without getting the truth. So
okay,
now
so then what about when he comes out on Amare? Amare worked in the organization. Amare was player personnel. Amare Stoudemire worked for the Brooklyn Nets. Amare Stoudemire this past year worked for the Brooklyn Nets. Amare Stoudemire went out there and he was a player personnel person. He worked directly with the players. And he made his statements on First Take and on Get Up talking about the Kyrie Irving situation. So now he was there. He was in the ish. He was a part of it. And he's calling Kyrie out on his stuff. And there's a lack of accountability.
What exactly did he say that was calling him out? Because I heard, I watched
Dre, you're muted.
Both. You're muted.
Just to fast forward it, because it wasn't too much that he said that was out of context.
Right.
He basically said Kyrie Irving needs to put his focus more into basketball, which is what all of us have been saying. He hasn't said he didn't say anything other than that. But real quick, because
I think my thing was just real quick, the accountability. I think there's a lack of accountability in a lot of athletes, especially the black athletes, when they get called out by black sports media. They don't want to be held accountable, or they feel like black sports media shouldn't be the ones holding them accountable. But then you kind of create an issue. You don't want to be called out. You don't want to be called out by the white people because they're white and they shouldn't be calling you out as a black person.
And then if black media calls you out, then they're a sellout because they're supposed to have your back.
Right. Thank you.
And that's what I was getting to. I wanted to tell you your final thoughts on it because you spoke about last week.
Yeah, because I'll let y'all speak, and I did not interrupt y'all at all. Like I said, I always believe, like I said last week, and I think my point was really what hit it on the head, right? I'm going to, if I'm looking for somebody to mentor me or expect me to be at my best, it's going to, like I said, or like Matt said, I'm going to look to the person who looks something like me, right? And I feel like if you doing whack stuff on the court and off the court, like, everybody should hold you accountable. And the thing is, I would rather Stephen A. Smith say the things that he said about Kyrie Irving than Max Kellerman say it. Because then you would wonder if there's some racial tones or undertones to what he's saying. You get what I'm saying? Even though he needs to be held to the fire for his lack of productivity or some of the things of being a distraction. Everybody will always wonder, like when someone said, Mike and the Mad Dog said to about Draymond Green, shut up and dribble. Granted, like I had said last week, it was different than the LeBron shut up and dribble because Draymond came and started talking about his skill on the court. So I took it as, yes, shut up and dribble. You're not talking about social justice activities. But because of him being a white male, you know what I'm saying? People that, well, why he said that or why he said this, you know what I'm saying? And it was a fair assessment as to what Draymond was doing. You know what I'm saying? My thing is, no. You spoke uninterrupted. I said nothing. My thing is, I'm going to be tougher on my brothers because I want the best out of my brothers. I'm going to be tougher on my sisters because I want the best out of them. And I'm going to embrace them. There are athletes out there that would not have had the fanfare if it not been for a Stephen A. Smith, if it not been for a Shannon Sharp, if it's not been for this. And people say that, oh, Stephen A. don't keep the same energy when it comes. And the thing is, it's coming from me who don't even like Stephen A. Smith. You get what I'm saying? For my own reasons. But he gives Aaron Rodgers the smoke. He gives Tom Brady the smoke. He gave Bill Belichick the smoke. Harshly, too. So when you act up, you need to take accountability, I feel. I feel like there were players who don't want to take accountability because they're sensitive about their craft. But then I also feel like we as media, we should know our place too. Like, if I can't shoot a basketball, I'm not going to tell somebody else how to shoot a basketball either. I'm going to go by stats and figures and make my opinion. But I'm not going to be like, oh, he's a bum. How he ripped Ben Simmons was inappropriate to me. Very inappropriate. Because a couple of days later, he came out with a back surgery, right? It wasn't based on race. And I feel like I would rather him say it than somebody else.
Matt, last word.
To Justin Max, what he said.
Mad Dog, yeah,
the Mad Dog shit. When he said what he said about Draymond, it was more or less he said just shut up and play, but he was like, nobody wants to hear you talk. I'm sick of hearing you talk. It's basically, it sounded like a personal jab. It was a personal attack because you don't like the player, you don't like how he plays, so you rather not hear anything he has to say. That's what made it so personal because, again, Draymond Green has a podcast. I listen to the podcast because Draymond Green is very intelligent when it comes to on the court play. So, yes, I would love to hear what Draymond Green has to say. So, for you to say an out-of-pocket statement like, just shut up, nobody wants to hear you talk, like you're not important. My man got to deal with TNT when his career is over. Everybody wants to hear Draymond Green talk because they like the realness of him. They like the knowledge that he brings.
I don't want to hear Drake. I don't want to hear Drake.
You're one person.
Say a damn thing.
And he gonna be in the same position when he gets on TNT and he starts talking about somebody and he's as real as Draymond is, because you're right, Draymond is real. But he's gonna be in the same position where athletes are gonna come at Draymond and tell him you shouldn't be talking.
Wasn't Draymond complaining? The thing is, I was tired of hearing him complaining about the officiating too. That's where it started. It wasn't just, we don't want to hear you talk about complaining. Yes, it was nonsensical calls. Yes, I get it. You get what I'm saying? But because you have a history of getting these type of technical fouls, it's like the boy who cried wolf. Nobody cares anymore. You get what I'm saying? So that was the pretext. That was the preface for the comments. When Laura Ingraham or whoever said it from Fox News about LeBron James, it was in response to the Ferguson riots. So that's a big difference to me.
It's a difference, but more or less, he wasn't. I listened to the podcast. I listened to the whole episode. He wasn't complaining. He was basically explaining from his perspective how the play happened, why he carried on the way that he carried on after, the flagrant 2 was called, why he didn't think it was a flagrant 2, because in all honesty, we all didn't think it was a flagrant 2. And he basically just gave his insight from him being the player that was on the court. I didn't take it as him complaining. But again, you did and whatever, I forgot his name. I forgot his damn name. But yeah, he took it that way. Why? Because he just doesn't like Draymond. Some people if you're annoyed with a person, sometimes you just rather not hear anything that they have to say. That's your prerogative. But you can't say, shut up, we don't want to hear you talk. That's not true. Not everybody thinks like how you think. And it sounds like a personal attack.
It wasn't it wasn't a personal attack.
Right, he wasn't talking for everybody. He was talking for himself. Mad Dog was saying that because when was the last time a playoff series was won by somebody talking about the playoff series? You want to win this playoff series?
Nobody wants to hear you talk.
When it comes to
play.
I always say that, and I don't mean a general nobody.
Right,
but
at the end of the day,
I want to see Draymond Green talk. Just shut up and play. Just shut up. Nobody wants to hear you talk. That's exactly what he said.
That's what I want you to do, though. I like Draymond Green. I like his podcast as well. I listen to it as well. I listen to a lot of sports stars when they talk. And there's a time for talking and there's a time for playing. But at the end of the day, you're going to sit here and harp on something that already happened. How you going to fix it? Go out there and play. That's all that matters at the end of the day. Draymond can sit here and talk and talk and talk and talk and talk. And what happens if the Warriors lose? All you did was talk.
We gotta watch what we say when we say harp on it, because it was only 15 minutes of him speaking about it.
And it was recorded the same night it happened. It was recorded the same night. It was recorded the same night he did it happened.
And I think honestly we're playing semantics now. Because at the end of the day, the thing is, just get out there and play. Like, this is not about something bigger than. I could understand if it was about something bigger than you. If it was something about bigger than your inability to understand that it's your actions that got you the way you are. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's what it is. And I always say, nobody don't want to see you, Otis. That don't mean that nobody don't want to see you. That means I don't want to see you.
But if we're talking about certain people, like certain players responding to certain criticism and certain jabs that the media have, he's within all right to say what he has to say as far as that situation. So I don't think, like I said, I didn't take it as him complaining. He wasn't complaining. He was telling his side of the story and how it happened in his real time. And he recorded it the night that it happened. And he didn't really speak about it afterwards. If you listen to Draymond's podcast, he breaks down all series. I just think
the flip side of that is you're 100% right, Matt. He has opportunity to speak about it, but the flip side is that the people who don't want to hear it 100% have the right to be like, I don't want to hear it. We just want to see you play, see what you're going to do after that. The Mad Dog thing is kind of shaky because it's coming from him. And when JJ Redick stepped in, he checked him. He's like, listen, this is what it sounds like. You may not be saying that, but this is what it sounds like. And he checked him. So, but to round it off back to the black media, it's like what I'm go back to what Tay said last week. I am my brother's keeper. Nobody's going to watch my back like my brother. So as someone who sees someone like myself on the court and then having to critique them while on the show, it's better to come from me than someone who doesn't look at me and you take it more offensive and then you do more things. You act up more, and now the whole narrative has changed. But shout out to the rest of the Drop Chairs Network. Shout out to everybody. Shout out to everybody here on the show. Guys, my birthday's coming up. Turning 31. So figure something out, y'all. Figure something out.
I'm not gonna hold you. I might be too drunk.
But Tay mic unmuted. What happened?
It's 2 weeks from now, and you already thinking that you gonna be too drunk? Like, I know that's my baby birthday weekend, so we're gonna have to figure it out.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Well,
it's a national holiday. We off that weekend. Trust me.
That's the
yes,
anniversary.
we know. Yeah. We know. We're not gonna mention the other one.
What be the excuses all the other times?
Huh?
What be the excuses all the other times?
What other times?
That you be drunk?
I'm just drinking. I'm sober now. I didn't drink now yet.
Yeah.
It's coming.
Today?
Yeah. It's been a rough day.
Tomorrow too?
Nah, tomorrow I gotta work. And then it's my son's first AAU game, so gotta go to West Virginia.
Well, congrats to Lil Shane. Congrats to Lil Shane.
That nigga ain't little. He big.
Bigger than you. Yep. We know.
He out there. He like Tay height.
Yeah, well,
Shut up, Tay. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
It's too sad you didn't grow since the 4th grade, so.
Not everybody can be 5'10" in the 4th grade, Tay.
Yeah, but not everybody could be in their 30s and 5'2". Like, what?
I'm 5'8", 5'9", thank you.
5'9", whatever. Tell that lie on your driver's license. Don't tell that lie to me.
My license actually say 5'9". I'm not.
Your license should say 5'6".
That is I'm not 5'6".
You are 5'6".
I'm not.
You are 5'6".
I'm not. I'm like 5'6".
There's no way that I'm 5'9", almost. I'm close to 5'10", right? And there's no way that you come up to my shoulder.
You was 6 feet.
Yeah,
I'm lying. You and Larry the same height. Y'all are 6 feet.
Yeah, but then you still come up to our shoulder. So what part of 5'9" is that? There's a 3-inch difference is the length of a finger, not the length of a foot. You just mad because you 5'3.5".
I am not 5'3".
Damn, the height just keep getting shorter.
Really, like you might as well just say I'm practically like 2 feet.
5'5" with brown eyes. Smile like the sunrise.
Oh God. For the voice of generation, Pete Rosado. For
Aaron Morey's a hoe.
For the little mama, BK Matt. For Queen Tay, it is your boy, Big Baby. Signing off. Peace.
I'm taking money in my